Where you from? Man, I'm from down in the valley.
I got people trying to wish and pray that I'ma fall about it, all about it till we spoke in person. Don't wanna talk about it now, huh? Oh, you sound tough, toying with them, don't get wound up. How you wound up? Another number in the round up. Put the town up, built the sling up.
You mean like San Antonio? Nah, man, farther.
Got the east side flow. I'm a giant in the space like FIFA. All the kids
V's up, player.
Every time when they see my show, thinking that it happened overnight.
Let's start the show, Wattis.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Danny with Down in the Valley Sports, and we continue to get some amazing guests on the show with us. Today we have Bryan Ramos of RGVsports.com. How you doing today, Bryan?
I'm doing good, fellas. Thank you guys for having me. Danny and Roy, I really appreciate it, man. And shout out to you guys for everything you guys do with Down in the Valley. I mean, just putting that spotlight on UTRGV sports, man. As these college programs grow, we see it with all those Power Four programs and those big accounts that follow them and are just everything UTRGV or whatever that athletic program is. And now you guys are doing that service here at UTRGV, man. So shout out to you guys and thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's exactly the goal. And today we want to talk a little bit more about you. I mean, we will give UTRGV athletics some shine, but I'm from Edinburgh. You're from Edinburgh. We're both products of the four-time All-American city. We went to the legacy institution that's now UTRGV. So let's get into the rapid fire and then hopefully quickly into your roots and background too. What you think, Roy?
Yeah, let's do it. But I want to take a moment just to say, for me, Ramos, been a big fan for since I got here, man. So a lot of the things, and I'm not, trying to do this to be fake, man. A lot of the things that we're doing is a lot from what I saw you guys doing, my boy. So I wanted to say thank you because your content to me is top notch, and I've been a fan for a while. And I know offline we talked a little bit about some things I noticed and just the cool dynamic you guys have going on. So I appreciate your guys' work, but I do want you to know that it had a lot to do with what I do and what Danny we're trying to do is stuff that you guys do. So you and Ivan, we definitely appreciate that, and I wanted to say thank you for that because it does mean a lot because you got to look at somebody, right? And down here we're in a small pond, and you guys are to me the main ones that we looked at and I looked at before I even started this, before it was something we did. So wanted to say thank you for that for sure.
Oh, thank you, Roy. I appreciate it, man. And yeah, it's been from the jump, man. Those are some kind words, and I appreciate it, man. And I think it was fall camp when I think we first kind of like touched base. We kind of DM'd each other a couple of times here and there, and I think one of the first things I said was like, "Hey, man, this is really cool to see." You know what I mean? The idea to start this thing up, and that was back in had to be August. Before
It was, yeah. I think I posted your depth chart. Like I thought, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, that's my depth chart." I was like, "Oh yeah, and that was the first time. So I thought that was cool. I think at that time, I think I had 15 people following me. So I appreciate that, and we'll get into it, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But let's get into this rapid fire. The first one, I'm a hip hop head, so I wanted to see what your take is on this one. Is Kendrick or Drake?
Oh man, I respect Drake. He's made some hits, but I mean I like Kendrick Lamar.
Nice.
He's just that his style and everything, and he's kind of he's a rapper. You know what I mean? Like when you talk about that and lyricist and all that stuff. And Drake makes some good hits, and you know what I mean. I like to bob my head to him, and you know what I mean. You can't deny what he's done, but I'm Team Kendrick all the way.
Yeah, I'm 45, dog. So I came in the 90s where you had like the East Coast kind of lyricists, Wu-Tang Clan type of deal. So to me, Kendrick is my guy. But you're right though. When I'm chilling with Drake and maybe you're talking to your lady friend or something and the wifey, that Drake does hit. So I'm a fan of both of them. So all right, next one I got is red salsa or green salsa.
Oh man, I think I'm versatile, man. I like them both, man. It's
Ah,
what are you putting it on? You know what I mean? I like to mix it up.
mm,
I go to the taqueria. I may get both. You know what I mean? And rotate one taco green, one taco red. Um,
yep.
yeah, man. You got to mix it up, man. Definitely here in the valley, man. We definitely love our salsas.
That's a true tacoache right there, Juarez, right? He said, why choose one, dog? I'm gonna
Yep.
go and choose both. We haven't had that answer since we've been here, but now I know we got a Valley boy right here because he said,
Yes,
we'll
sir.
get five tacos, right? Two with the green, three with the red, right? So
Yeah.
a point taken, and I appreciate that. My next question is tacos or barbecue?
Oh man, hey man, let's barbecue and make some tacos. You know what I mean? I
See
mean,
this guy. Come on, man. You can't be. See,
hey
now
man,
he's a professional. Now he's getting professional on us, man. Now he's getting professional. You got to choose one, Ramos.
hey, we're not the heaviest city, city in the nation for no reason. You know what I mean? I mean, I know
Big
some.
back nation, baby.
Yeah, yeah. No, the food down here, man, it's top notch, and man, you could go. That's the thing, man. You could go get grandma's breakfast tacos at just any taco spot down here, and then the
Yep.
barbecue spots, man. I mean, you guys know how popular those spots have gotten, and you know what I mean on a national level, recognized, and statewide level, recognized as some of the best barbecue spots in the states. So yeah, man, I'm definitely a little bit of both, and I'm proud to say that for sure.
Now I get it. I tell people that when you come to Texas, because I'm from Cali and the Valley, but
Yeah,
when
yeah.
my boys come from Cali, it's all right. Let's go to the gas station to go get some breakfast tacos. Like what? The gas station? I was like, yeah, dog. There's freaking abuelas right there making homemade tortillas right next to the energy drinks, and you can buy a whole full breakfast for your family while pumping the gas. So the taco game over here is crazy. So you could buy tacos at a gas station. That's pretty dope. So I get that. Here's more of a journalistic one. Are you a early deadline guy or a late night deadline guy?
Oh man, with us, shoot. So when I started with the Monitor back in 2019, I mean, we were a daily newspaper printing 7 days a week, and it was like our deadlines were 11
Yeah.
p.m. midnight on Friday night football. It's like 1 a.m. So I'm a late night guy. You know what I mean? Up
Mm,
getting scores after games after 10 p.m. Hitting up the high school coaches to get that stuff, and so yeah, and I'm definitely not an early riser, being that sometimes up to midnight, 1 in the morning. You know what I mean? Doing work before I clock out. But hey, man, that's the name of the game, and it's like um, we are that resource. You know what I mean? As RGV Sports, it's like we got to get those scores up and let everybody know how their team did tonight, because I know that's what the newspaper. You know what I mean? I know we've gone away from
yep.
printing 7 days a week, but people still want to know, hey man, how did my alma mater do last week? Did the Bobcats beat the Cougars? Did the Cougars beat the Bobcats? I got to
Yep.
take it there, Danny. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like that's so yeah, a late deadline, and I like to get yeah, up into the early morning, man. That's how I roll.
Yeah, but the kids don't know. Like, if we interview a UTRGV player, they don't know anything about a newspaper,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah,
remember not knowing what happened until the morning, and you waited, right, for
Mm.
that paper guy to throw that paper in front of your house so you can go grab it and see what Simpson did, or see what Westlaco did last night. Or I was a track guy. I wanted to see who threw far last night, right?
yeah.
So I remember that vividly. But these young cats, they don't know about that, man. So I hope it keeps going, because I still think there's a place for it. But like we talked about, there it's a transition, and seeing where that fits in line. Are you a coffee guy or an energy drink guy?
Oh man, I'm a nothing guy. I hate to say, I don't know if that makes me lame or anything, but I got enough
No.
anxiety as it is, man. I don't need energy drink. I don't need coffee to pick me up. When I used to drink coffee for a short while, but then I realized, all right, I'm probably I got enough energy to burn on my own. I don't need to get that boost. I mean, now as I'm getting older, I'm definitely, you know what I mean, feeling, hey man, maybe I can use a little kick, so maybe I should get back into the coffee game. But yeah, yeah, no, definitely, yeah, I kind of stay away from coffee and energy drinks, but yeah, bring on all the water, and then hey man, I'll never turn down a diet soda either.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's probably a good thing, because people say, "Oh, I need my coffee or I'm cranky." I'm like, "Fool, you're just a
Mm.
cranky fool, man. You're not. You don't need the coffee." So they think they changed their DNA, but it's not true. Next question: Delia's Tamales or somewhere else?
Oh man, I think down here, Delia's is the big name. You know what I mean? They're the McDonald's down here of tamales. But hey, man, nothing beats your grandma's tamales, your tia's tamales. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Those homemade, like the stuff that you grew up with. Those are the best. So shout out to Delia, and the market, the monopoly that she's got here on the Rio Grande Valley. But man, it can never be grandma or mom's, or you know what I mean? Those homemade tamales.
You know what's crazy? I was supposed to ask Delia's or homemade, but you answered it with homemade. So I think that's
Very
pretty dope. And I'm in California. The tamales are bigger. They have more
good.
masa
Yeah,
than
yeah,
down here. So when I came down here and I saw these little small little pigeon tamales, I'm like, and not Delia's, but anywhere, they're like little small. I was like, yo, come on, man, $12 for six basically.
yeah.
So I definitely can get that, and I'm picking up what you're dropping on that one. All right, cool. I'll pass it back to Danny to go into roots and background for sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
man. So, like I touched on, we're both products of Edinburgh, and you went to Edinburgh High, I went to Edinburgh North. Never in a million years that I think like we'd be on a show or a podcast jamming together. But tell us a little bit about your upbringing, man. Like, what inspired you? I mean,
Yeah.
sports is obviously a passion for everyone in the valley, but to dedicate it as a profession is taking it to another level. And like this is what you do for a living, which is a dream, right? So, tell us about little Bryan Ramos, what got you fired up about playing sports, covering sports, all that stuff?
Yeah, man. So yeah, shout out to Danny, man. Me and Danny go way back. Known him, been friends for a long time. So always been a good dude. So yeah, it's good to catch up here, man. But yeah, going back, man. My dad was a baseball and football coach. His
Mm.
dad was a baseball and football coach, and my grandpa has a baseball stadium named after him in Hebronville, because he
Oh,
did some really good things there, leading Hebronville during his time there. Um, but yeah, so I've always been around the game. You know how you go to those high school games and you see the coaches' kids on the sideline just running around, being you know what I mean, getting the boogers everywhere and just getting in the way. And that was me, man. Growing up on the sidelines, my dad used to coach at Nicky Rowe here in McAllen. So yeah, that was me growing up. And then I just immediately loved sports, always around the game. And then of course, our age, I think Roy, definitely you too. I mean, video games, you know what I mean? They became just so prominent. So I was a big Madden guy, and QB Club back in like the 90s. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
All of them, man. NBA Live before 2K. I played all those games, and I just that's how I learned. Like, hey, man, I could name like a lot of players in the like I could essentially name a lot of NFL rosters and NBA rosters. NBA not so much nowadays. Football, NFL, I probably still can because I'm a heavy fantasy football head. Um,
yeah.
Mm.
um, but yeah, so I've always just been into sports. There was video games, and then it became, you know what I mean, playing. And when I played football, I played at Edinburgh High School, played offensive line, and that was fun. And we had some fun doing that. And then after I graduated high school, I kind of just like stepped away. It was like no sports. Still played video games, of course, and still watched the big leagues and the pro sports and college sports. I'm a Duke Blue Devil basketball fan, so paid attention to Duke and everything.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and then after a while, it was like, all right, well, what the heck am I going to do with my life? And then I just ended up taking a communications class at UTRGV. Because I went to UTPA and UTRGV. So
Mm.
you know, I mean, I flirted with it, wasn't able to get it done. My head was in another place, you know what I mean? UTPA. So I went back when it was UTRGV. It was actually in the first year of UTRGV, right when they changed the name and kind of joined. And it was like, all right, man. Well, I know sports. I had a communication class. They were like, all right, go write something. So I was like, all right. I just went to a random high school game down here and covered it and wrote it. And then my professor
Crazy.
said, hey, that's pretty good. He kind of put me in touch with somebody down here with the Progress Times in Mission. That's where I started. Shout out to them. The Progress Times, the Sherryland Times. They cover just the Big Seven, which is the three La Jolla schools, the two Mission schools, and the two Sherryland schools. That's where I started. And then, of course, that turned into, actually, a little before that, I got hired by the school newspaper there at UTRGV. So I started as a student reporter. And that's how, when I first started with UTRGV Athletics, man, as a student reporter. And I still see them, you know, while we're out there in the media scrums. And there's those students that I was once them, and I know what it's like to be in their shoes and to be that
Yeah.
reporter hesitant to ask a question. But yeah, then now, I mean, just the growth that not just UTRGV athletics, because that's been phenomenal, and I think that's clear, and we'll speak about that. But high school level, man, I mean, in the recent years, we've had several teams do really good things. Like
Hmm.
my first year, Sharyland Pioneer just happened to go in baseball. They just happened to go to the state tournament. We, of course, had Eddie Lee Marburger's high school run.
Hmm.
Landry Gilpin, who was the first Mr. Texas football to ever to come out of the Rio Grande Valley to ever win that award. And I've just been fortunate, I feel, just to be in this spot. You know what I mean? It's all like timing and whatever. And I just feel fortunate and blessed that I'm able to have this opportunity to tell these stories and shine a light on high school sports, and now, of course, UTRGV football and UTRGV athletics as a whole. It's just been really cool just to see everything going on here in the Valley.
I got a follow up question about your offensive line career, my boy. What type of trench dog were you? Were you a starter? You play varsity? You know, we got any accolades to drop? Because I know you're on the sideline and you've seen those TikToks where it's, I used to be an athlete, right? And they're chucking, right? So, what kind of player were you? Were you a star of the team? Maybe Danny knows because you guys were in the same time era. But what kind of player were you at Edinburgh High?
No, far from it, man. I was a kind of a rotational piece there on the offensive line. I definitely got in some games. I was a starter on special teams, and I was kind of like the sixth offensive lineman. I
Mm.
played guard, I played tackle. So whenever anybody went down, I was the first guy to go in. And yeah, we had the the year before me, the class above me, we had a deep senior class. So we had just a heavy senior class right above me. So those guys were all the starters. You know what I mean? So it was like, I mean, I could be third string on varsity as a junior or start on JV. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah, I definitely took those reps, man, and take some pride in JV, man. We won several district titles in a row there. Uh,
yeah.
at Edinburgh High, and then senior year, man, I'm sure Danny remembers. Senior year did not go our way. We finished the year 3-7,
Oh,
lost to Danny's Cougars, and then I hate to say this, man, but if I'm not mistaken, we were the first Edinburgh High Bobcat team to lose to Edinburgh Economides, the
Oh
Jaguars.
yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
Because they were early 2000s, and they were kind of third in rank in terms of like the school. I know these days Vela gets all the attention and the love, but like that rivalry was deep between the Cougars and the Bobcats, and Economides just like like you can sit over there in the corner, like you don't got our respect. But yeah, then I played with some of those guys on that team because I went to Memorial Middle School. So
mhm,
like I knew a lot of those guys, and they
mm,
actually ended up having a really good team by the time our senior year came around. Like I
yeah.
think they made the playoffs, and I think had the best record in Edinburgh that year.
Yeah, yeah, I think they did. They did have a good year that year, and but yeah, and there was all those. We had some players transfer from Economides to Edinburgh High for their senior year, and it's like, oh, sorry, man, we just let you down. Then our quarterback went. Our quarterback that had started for us in middle school and junior high, and he was projected to be their guy our senior year, he transferred to Economides, so he started against us that senior year. But yeah, man, I mean, it was memories, man. I mean, we all know Robert Vela High School and the name, and I was fortunate to play for Coach Vela. I was part of the last team to play
mm.
under Coach Robert Vela before he passed that
Mm.
the following summer after we graduated. But yeah, man, he was just a legend, and I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm very proud. You know what? Just one second, let me grab something.
Don't bring out a ribbon, Robbo. So I don't want to see any third place or sixth place ribbons.
I
No,
mean, Coach Vela is a legend, dude. Like
I don't
he,
know the story, man. That'd be kind of cool to know the story.
there you go.
Oh,
I got to had to bring the Bobcat jersey. I got a Cougar jersey in here somewhere. Oh, you know what? I see it right now. But yeah, I got a Bobcat jersey. I got the Cougar jersey.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
I got those helmets. So yeah, man, I rep Edinburgh, man. I mean, it's very cool. Even Economides this year,
They're
they were
good.
9-0 for the first
Mm-hmm.
time, and
great run.
yeah, and then of course we all know how good Vela's been. So hey, man, if you're an Edinburgh boy, you're a Valley boy, man. I support you. You know what I mean? In this job, like it's like they say, oh, like you play favorites and you only support Edinburgh or you only support this school and that school. It's like, hey, man. I mean, any school that plays well, I mean, it's like, hey, man, we're behind them. You know what I mean? And you got to shine a light on them and not play favorites. It's like I root for the Valley as a whole, man, in every single sport. So it doesn't matter if it's the Bobcats, if it's the Cougars, if it's the Jaguars. I mean, it's all love here.
Yeah, that's dope. And I think that we're kind of similar to where everybody that's doing well in the valley, we want to support, right? And I can tell by your guys' coverage, you guys do the same thing. You mentioned that you stopped going to school a little bit and then came back to UTRGV, right? And you work for the writer. And you said that you see a lot of the early young writers and you see yourself maybe in them. Can you talk about what was your hardest early lesson when you were at writer that kind of made you react and change the path or adjust your path when you were a writer at the writer newspaper?
Man, I think I guess I think I would have to say it's just getting the human aspect, because I mean you can get the team A beat team B 90-80, you know what I mean? And but it's like there's so much more deeper, and there's so much more like personal stories. And once you get in high school, it's kind of hard to tell these stories because I mean they're kids, and you know what I mean. You want to protect them, and you don't know what they're gonna be comfortable talking about. And so some kids are willing to share their stories, but you got to be kind of sensitive around those subjects. But with college, it's like these are adults who are they were the star where they came from. They're used to talking to the media. They were the best player at their high school. They talked to the media, the newspaper. They talked to the TV people in their cities where they come from. They're used to talking to media, so they're more comfortable once they get to the college level. And then it's just you just have to build a connection, man, and make people feel comfortable, because I mean it's it goes. It's not just players; it's coaches as well. Because I mean, nowadays it's like gotcha journalism, where I'm just trying to I'm trying to
Yeah,
get you to say one wrong quote, and then that's going to be our headline, and we're going to run with that. And it's like, nah, man. I mean, there's so much positivity out there, and you have to kind of weigh that while still being unbiased, and you know what I mean, and telling the story and being accurate in your reporting. But you got to build those relationships and make people feel comfortable. And the only way you do that is by reps. You know what I mean? By
yep.
letting them see your face every day. And I know during during spring ball and all fall camp this year, in the summer, man, it was over 100 degrees, 90 degrees, 100 degrees. You know the valley weather, the Valley Springs and Valley Summers, and I was out there, taking notes on practice every single day, man. So the players saw me like, who the hell is this guy? He's not with our athletic program. Who's this guy?
Right.
But I was just out there every day. So then when you talk to them, they're like, oh well, shoot, we you know what I mean? We see you out here every day. Then it would get to the point where I'd see some UTRGV football players out in public. I live close to the university. So I'd see them out in public, and they'd be like, "Hey, you going to practice tomorrow?" I'm like, yeah, I am. But kind of like I have practice. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's just been cool, man. Just building those relationships, because I mean, I love football, man. I love UTRGV. I grew up here, walking the Bronx Trail. Danny knows Bronx Trail, where the path there at UTRGV. I used to go walk with my mom. You know what I mean? In nights when I was like in junior high and high school and stuff. And so yeah, that plays it means a lot to me, man, and just like the steps that they've taken. So I just try to do it right, man. You just that's the goal. Just do it right and make sure you're doing people right, because you're telling their story. And like that's the thing. Like we have this platform, and you got to be conscientious of like what you write carries weight. You know what I mean? And it's not
Right.
always just like you just throw it right in and goes by the wayside. It's like words matter, reporting matters, and yeah. So I'm a big fan of journalism, and I know in today's day and age, it's not something you hear a lot, but yeah, man, I love the craft, and then of course being able to tell the stories here at UTRGV, that just means a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean, talking about your journey, you can hear the passion in there behind the program. And I made a comment on X about like how we might be entering the golden era of UTRGV athletics. So,
Mhm.
talk to us a little bit about that. I mean, you've been observing the program for quite some time. Does this feel a little different to you? It feels different to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see, because yeah, we weren't around for those glory days when UTPA baseball was, or Pan American baseball with Coach Al was at their heydays. I know we were just youngsters when Coach Al was wrapping up his career, and they were getting out their glory days. And then of course, Pan Am baseball, basketball was able to do back in like the 60s and 70s and everything, in a respectable program. But yeah, in my days, man, it's never been like this. The way it was red hot. I think just a couple weeks ago, the men's and basketball team had won combined to win 14 straight games.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball welcoming Big 12 programs. What was it, over close to 25,000 over those eight
Yeah.
8 games in 6 days? It's just remarkable. Then of course you guys were at the football games, man, and just you guys have seen the showing of support from the community. It's just been remarkable, man. And you got to give credit to Chase Conk, the athletic director, man, and everything that he's done, because I mean he's found the right guys, man. I mean, when I started, yeah, with the writer as a student reporter, the baseball program the baseball program was not doing much, and neither were the basketball programs. The women's team was doing good with Coach Tidwell, but man, as a whole, the department was not very good, and there were talks of starting football, and it was like, okay, we're going to try to start football, but our other athletic programs aren't doing very well. But yeah, we still want football, of course. We're the Valley. We always want football. Then in comes Chase Conk, and in comes Coach Matlock, that's where it all started. To be honest, I mean that baseball program has built a fan base down here to where they're selling out midweek games, and I know they sold out. They just had the record-setting crowd against Texas Tech, but they have midweek games against not non-power four opponents that draw over 5,000. And when you can do that
Crazy.
on a Tuesday game, a random Tuesday in April, it's like that really says something. So the baseball has really kind of been that. Been out in the front of leading the charge of UTRGV athletics. And then, of course, now Coach Bush comes in a few years ago, starts building this thing from scratch. And Coach Bush obviously has that Valley flavor. You know what I mean? His
Hmm.
father, Coach Bruce Bush, Valley legend, and Texas high school football legend in his own right. And then, so it's like, okay, who's going to be the guy to lead this UTRGV football program? How are we going to get the Valley to care about him? And it's like, all right, here we got Coach Bush, a guy with Valley ties, who's married to, somebody who grew up here, went to high school here in the Valley. His wife went to McAllen Memorial, I believe. So you know what I mean. There's Valley ties. Coach Bush went to an elementary down here, and then he
Mm-hmm.
builds that team from scratch. Gets Gunnar Henderson, Coach Regalado,
Yeah.
then of course pieces from all across the state, like Coach Gamble, Coach Bowen, just some really big dudes to come in here and build this thing. And man, UTRGV athletics is just red hot right now. It's so crazy, and hopefully they can sustain that success. And I think they have the right people in charge of those athletic programs to do so. So shout out to Coach Fennel, Coach Lord, Coach Matlock, and of course Coach Bush and company, and all their respective staffs, man, because it's a team effort when you look at those
Mm-hmm.
staffs, and they've all done a hell of a job. And shout out as well to Chase Conk and the whole UTRGV athletic department as a whole.
Yeah, I think to Danny's point, the golden era, you just laid it out, right? If we're doing a marketing a slideshow of what's going on right now, just clip what Ramos just said, right? Going from back to UTPA to the baseball, generating it up, and just the history of what it is. And as an alum, that's pretty special. And then I did mention on X2 is that not only is it the golden age, it's the best time to have a fan page, right?
Heck yeah.
So when we started the fan page in August, I was like, man, this is timing, right? To where I can, I wasn't a fan. I've been here 7 years. I didn't know what was going on. And then this guy now, my whole week, Doug, is watching women's basketball, right? I'm looking at the baseball team. Tonight they play in Houston. So I'm already telling the wife we got to go out to eat, but we got to get back to the crib so I can watch this baseball game. So I think there's some pretty cool things that are going to happen and happen. For you, you've covered the Valley sports for a while now. What I wanted to know as a fan is what are some of your favorite moments you covered from the Valley? I know you talked about Eddie Lee. I was here for that, and I watched him ball. He had a receiver that was really good. I forgot his name. That was really good. That they just anytime they needed it, they were throwing to that. I think it was number one or something for Pioneer.
Okay,
But
yeah,
what's your favorite moment that you've covered?
man. There's been a lot of them, man, but it's just shoot, man. I mean, UTRGV football, because football is my favorite sport. I love basketball. I didn't play basketball organized, but once I graduated, I was out at some of the local parks here, yeah, every night playing pickup hoops, 4-on-4, 4-on-4 on the small courts, 5-on-5 on the bigger courts. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just UTRGV football, man. What they've done this year was just it was just remarkable, man. Football is so intense, and you're on the sidelines, and I'm on the sidelines taking video for the most part. So it's just up close to the action. I like being there and just getting it up front, and then man, to go from high school to D1 UTRGV football here on the sideline, and just see the football played that close in your face. It was like that was really remarkable this year. Like that was literally, I mean, those 12 games, it was just like I felt it like I was in heaven. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
oh, man, it's college football, and I was living and dying with the Vaqueros, man. But I think it's those personal stories, man, um, I mean, these players they put in the work because here in the Valley we think a lot of kids think, oh man, like I'm just not good enough. I'm not big enough. I'm not fast enough, and I'm not whatever enough. But it's like no, these guys that have put the Valley on the map and done really good things, like Landry Gilpin and Eddie Lee Marburger, and then we just had some really good players. I mean, go to the D1 level, and we got pitchers at Houston, and we got guys going to UTSA and just doing really big things. And it's those stories that I appreciate, where it's like, yo, tell these kids. I always ask these guys that reach these high level, like, tell the kids in the Valley what it took for you to get here, because they think, oh, like it's just like showing up to practice for the 2 hours that organized practice after school, and that's it. But like for Eddie Lee Marburger, man, he was putting in the work before school, after practice, and it wasn't always. It wasn't always rainbows, you know what I mean? It wasn't always sunshine, man. And it's like those are the cool things that it's like, you know, man. These guys they had a goal early in their high school careers, and they chased it. And yeah, man, just to see them. I mean, shoot, man, you know how crazy Texas high school football is,
Mhm.
and to have the most prestigious award in Texas high school football, Mr. Texas Football, go to this kid from Mission, Texas, Landry Gilpin, he's kind of like he's because if I'm not mistaken, he's mixed. His father's obviously Coach Gilpin, his white, and I believe
Mhm.
his mother's Hispanic, but he's like his kind of a Hispanic Johnny Manziel, uh,
Yeah, I remember.
doing his thing, running around people, making it look like a video game. And then he wins Mr. Texas Football, which has been won by, I mean, freaking Kyler Murray won the award twice. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like to be
Yeah.
in that conversation, it's like, dude, that's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, touching on your point about the mentality and the commitment, my father-in-law came out of Mackay and ended up playing in the Southwest Conference for Rice football up in the Houston area. And I mean, and he's, Hispanic, Latino, like no, like to your point about, the talent there and the pedigree, but like this was before, this isn't what, like the late 70s, 80s, before, there was ever such a thing as Rivals 247. So like, I messed with him that he was like a low 3-star or whatever, but like, he talks about the obsession he had about getting better, like always working out, always putting in the time, the effort to get noticed by a Southwest Conference program. So he played against Texas. He played against TCU, A&M, Arkansas. Southwest Conference doesn't exist anymore, but like he was still the player of the week on the Houston Chronicle. He got drafted back in the USFL days. There were some big time players that came out of USFL, but like we debate that all the time, is like it's not that the Valley doesn't have the talent, it's that sometimes it's the mentality and the culture, right? And like sure, sometimes you can't do anything about measurables. Like he's 6'3", back in the day he was 250. He's a big guy, so he had the measurables along with the hard work that beat talent, right? But there were other guys. So I don't know if a good friend of his is Philip Money.
Mm,
Kai Money was his son that walked on at Texas and caught a touchdown, the first walk-on touchdown in Texas history since I forget that
Mm.
fullback. But so it's like these are Valley boys, man. These are
Mhm.
guys from the Valley that were playing at Power Four conference programs. So like, don't tell me that they can't make it. They can, but the odds are, because it's hard enough to play high school football, and then it's even harder to play college football, and then even harder to play NFL football, right? Like, or professional football. Sometimes, like, statistically speaking, the odds are against you, but you can overcome that, if you have the measurables, if you have the hard work, if you have, a lick of talent. So it's an ongoing debate, about Valley talent, on like, can they play at the next level? They can. They've proven they can. But just know that it's already really hard as it is. And statistically speaking, everyone isn't going to do it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could work your butt off, but man, if you just don't have the height, you don't have the speed, the God given talent, I mean, sometimes it's not going to work out for you. So it just depends, man. Every athlete's journey and story is different, but those examples of success from the Valley are there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And one thing, PSG North football has been the best football program here in the Valley since 2020, since the COVID year, since that happened. And one thing that their head coach, Coach Kaufman, says is, I mean, and not necessarily in these words, but who gives a crap about being the best team from the Valley? You know what I mean? You're competing. You don't win a title for being the best team from the Valley. You win by being better, by beating San Antonio, beating Austin, being able to beat Houston and these schools. And one thing, like Eddie Lee Marburger said when I talked to him this year, is like he gave one quote where it's like, "Hey man, I'm not just trying to be better than the guy from Harlingen, or the guy from this school, from Sherryland, from Mission, from McAllen. It's like I'm trying to be. I need to be better. If I want to make it to UTSA football, I got to be better than the guys from San Antonio, the guys from Houston, Dallas, Austin, all those areas." And that's what kind of set Eddie apart, because like yeah, I'm not. It's bigger than the Valley. You know what I mean? We love the Valley.
Mhm.
It's home, and it's all got a special meaning to us. But it's like, hey man, life is a lot bigger than the Rio Grande Valley. And if you want to be the best, you got to compete against the best in the state of Texas, not just here in the Valley. So yeah, chasing those goals. And like you said, man, shout out to Mr. Rios, right? That's who you're speaking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to him, man. My mom actually used to work with his wife, so they were both teachers. And so I've definitely seen him, man. He's a big dude, man. So, shout out to him, man.
I talked to some of his former teammates, and they're like, "Man, you don't want to cross paths with him. He was a dog. Like, he was mean." And what's funny, because I see him with, like, his grandchildren and his kids, and he's just like a big soft teddy bear. But like, man, he he did not want to cross paths with him on the football field or in the hallway. He was a bad dude.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. But yeah, that's what it takes, man. It takes that supreme effort, man. And like you said, man, there's nothing wrong with going and playing D2 ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
D3, NAIA. It's like, hey, man, go put on, man. Go ball out and go get a free education, because
Yep.
I mean, it's less than 1%, right? That ends up being a professional athlete in their respective sport. So it's like, hey, man, if you can get that education paid for, go
Mhm.
network. You know what I mean? Meet those coaches, meet those players, and that community, whatever campus you end up going to. Those can change your life. So yeah, embrace it, man. Chase those goals and try not to be just the best here in the Valley, man. Just try to be the best in the state. And like they say, man, you know what I mean? It's cliche, but shoot for the moon, you land amongst the stars. And it's like,
Yeah.
and you shoot to be the best at Texas. I mean, and you put in the work, everything will reflect that.
Yeah, I think for me, I thought I was going to be in the Olympics as a shot putter, right? I did it since I was 8 years old. I won national championships here when I lived in the Valley at Harlingen. I was like, man, I'm going to be the biggest thing ever. And I got to college and I stayed here and everybody else went there. And I got my school paid for, which was cool. But I mean, for all the kids out there listening, and they're still listening now, it's not about that, man, because there's such a small percentages. Take advantage of the opportunity when you go to school, do internships, man, and do whatever you have to do. And then, now look at me. I came back to somewhere I haven't been in 20 years, right? And I'm here doing this and then
Mhm.
trying to contribute to it. So you're still an athlete, but you're not be in athletics at an older age. So that's something that people can take away. One question while we're winding down is, who's Bryan Ramos outside of work? What do you like to do? What's something that would surprise us about you? Something kind of quirky, or if you're good on the sticks, I want to hear you challenge some players. Because we're trying to organize a little tournament on some Madden. So, what's something that would surprise people about you?
Yeah, yeah. Shoot, I mean, Madden, college football, NBA 2K. I mean,
Ooh.
you name it, I got it. Fortnite, you want to go Fortnite? That's cool too. But no, like I like the games, man. But I mean, just I think I mean it's just so crazy. So one thing that I kind of like, it's kind of weird to me, but like being in the news when we used to be in the newsroom on a nightly basis with those 11 p.m. deadlines, 12 a.m. deadlines, we'd be in the newsroom like putting together scores and stuff, and then all of a sudden we'd hear somebody, a reporter from the news side, on the phone, and they'd be like, "Oh, we there's this shooting just happened down the road," and it's like, sports is just a small part of what goes on in this world, and it's entertainment. You know what I mean? But there's so much more out there, man. And now in today's such like politically charged climate, it's just like I'm into news. You know what I mean? I like to I follow everything, and but yeah, the one thing that off the field, off away from sports, even in sports, man, you can hear him in my questions sometimes and talking to players and stuff. Is I just like to have fun, man. I just like to laugh.
Yeah.
I like to laugh myself. I like to make other people laugh, and if you can do that while also being a reporter, like just a neutral reporter that's unbiased and going to do the job and fair reporting, and you can have some fun with it at the same time. I mean, it just makes it all um, better for everybody. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I'm huge into stand up comedy, huge into comedy
Okay.
as a whole. So yeah, any
Who's your all time great stand up comedy?
oh man, shoot, there's I would have to say there's a lot. I have a lot of them, but probably Bill Burr. Bill Burr is my
Ooh.
favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. So, but yeah, man, just comedy, man. I like to laugh. I like to make people laugh, and that's I probably would say football is one of my favorite things. So is making people laugh. So they're right there.
Nice. I'll throw it back to Danny.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as we're wrapping up, I'm thinking about the future and moving forward, right? Like, um, what's something you want to accomplish in the future? I mean, is there like a dream scenario and of someone you want to interview, someone you want to cover? I know your Valley roots are deep, but is there like an event or a person that you would like love to cover or talk to at some point?
Yeah, I think so. So being down here, I mean, we're fortunate to where some people they come down here. Like I've got to talk to like Roy Jones Jr. I got to meet him and interview
What?
him. Like there's some cool stuff, and like the comedian Jeff Ross. When I was a student, when I was working for the Writer, the student newspaper, I got to
Hmm.
interview him when I was just a student. I had no business being on the phone with him, but it's just
Hmm.
like it's those cool things. And now I would say, man, after being so close to UTRGV football and being there, it's like it's a lot of work, but those those people that cover, you know what I mean, those Power Four programs or those NFL programs, that are where you're just a beat writer, and 'cause I feel like I did a decent job with UTRGV, kind of mixing the on the field and like the off the field stuff, and that, like now that's like what you got to do, and it's like I don't know, and all credit to like Channel Four and Channel Five and all those guys and all the TV outlets, but they all have several people out there doing the job. And when for RGV Sports, it was just me. You know what I mean? I was just basically a one man crew out there doing it all, and I feel like I provided the most in depth coverage of UTRGV football in their inaugural season, dating all the way back to spring ball, and that's one thing I'm proud of, man. And I said that in April, like I wanted to be the most knowledgeable about UTRGV football here in year one, and I projected when I put out that two deep depth chart. I think I got like 21 of 22 right, or
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it was really close, and just so yeah, just to keep on riding this wave with UTRGV football, man. It's crazy. Who knows where they're gonna go? But yeah, as a football guy, it's just yeah, that would be the dream. And then, of course, what Mr. Wembenyama's got going on in San Antonio, huh? I mean, I'm a huge Spurs fan, so that I guess that would be the dream. You know what I mean? Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, and Coach
Yep.
Popovich. Those are my gods. So yeah, it's cool to see the Spurs get that revival, man. So I would say the one athlete, it would be probably like yeah, probably Wemby or something.
Yeah, I think we talked about the coaches and how the rise of the program and the opportunities that are going to come down to the valley, and we want to keep all the coaches here and keep the players here. But I'll tell you right now, we want to keep you here, my boy, because I know there's a lot to it. I didn't know you took the video also. So all those videos that I stole from you and did edits for and had some fun with,
Yeah.
right? So thank you for that, because those are cool. I didn't know you did some of that, and to know that your work ethic is like that is commendable, man. And for me and Danny that do this as a hobby, trying to look around and find stuff, man, we want to say thank you for that. But we appreciate that hard work, because it's given a platform to not only us but to others. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can't do this without somebody being able to show and give us the information. That 2D depth chart, you're right. You were right on. I thought it was official. I thought it came from the school, so I ran with it. I was like, oh, we got the depth chart. We're going. So you knew what you were talking about, and you knew how to do it. So I'll wrap it up with Danny with closing remarks.
Yeah, no. Well, thank you so much for your time. First of all, I mean, we appreciate it. Just chopping it up with a professional like you, means a lot to us. And I check out rgvsports.com every day to see what's going on. Whenever I left the valley, I had to stay connected somehow. So I appreciate everything y'all do to keep us informed. And yeah, man, hopefully we get to do this again. For those of you that are watching, check out rgvsports.com, follow Bryan, stay plugged in. But with that, please like and subscribe, and V's up.
Let's go.